How's it going, guys? So I just finished work and then I launched my game, right? And then I saw they made the announcement for the Fiammetta event, and I was like, wait, I do follow the official Twitter and there's no announcement of such thing. But either ways, since that Fiammetta is coming on the 16th of September, 10 a.m. usual time, I thought I should do my Should You Pull video. So here we go. So this time, the answer of should you pull or not is actually pretty simple. I think most people should pull Fiammetta, with a caveat. That is, I believe that if you have a friend that has Arknights, or if you yourself has Arknights level up, at least E2, then you should get Fiammetta. Worst case scenario, as long as you have a friend that would lend you an E2 Arknights, you should get Fiammetta. Now, let's get into the operators and talk about why that is. Now, Fiammetta is a high cost AoE sniper. As you can see, 29 cost, extremely high attack and slow attack speed. Her talent is pretty interesting, I would say. It's kind of shapes how you should work around this operator. And as you can see, I didn't unlock my module. That is kind of my bad, but I just didn't have the resources to do so at the time, and I just forgot about it. Yeah, that's a thing. So let's look at her talents before we talk about how I would recommend you guys to use her. So I lost my mouse. So her first talent is that she will gradually lose her HP. That HP is based on her current HP, not her maximum HP. It's based on her current HP. And she will lose 0.5% of her HP every 0.1 seconds. So you might think, wait, that sounds like a lot. It's actually not that bad. As long as you have an any medic or even skill 2 Red Scotty on her, you'll be fine. Now, that's the downside. But shouldn't all talents be buffs? Yes, they are. So when Fiammetta has over 50% HP, she will get a buff that increases her attack by 25%. If her HP is above 80%, that effect is doubled. So 50% increased attack. And as you can see, based on her really already high base attack, plus 50% to that makes her just every single shot does a ton of damage, which is super good for her. Now her skill 2 is, I think, a bit odd for me personally. So her skill 2 is that when she is outside of her skill duration, attack speed is increased by 27. There is good things about that, but there's also some odd things that happens around that. So I'll talk about it a bit later. But 27 attack speed, pretty good since her attack speed is already pretty slow. Gaining some increased attack speed is also beneficial, especially how her skill works. Now, her skill. All 3 of her skills only regenerate SP upon attack. Oh, also I forgot, her talent 2 gets to plus 30 attack speed at P5 or something. Yeah, that's the usual stuff. So all 3 of her skills only regenerate SP when attacking. So that's why I would say that her talent 2 works pretty well with her skills most of the time, except for skill 3. There's a bit of a problem there. I'll talk about it. So her skill 1 is pretty simplistic. She will get plus 1 attack speed and have plus 100% attack in the duration of her skill. The skill can cost at minimum 10 SP at M3 and last 30 seconds. This is the skill that I would recommend no one to M3, because I haven't seen a situation where I actually find use of this skill. But you know, even in beginner period, I really wouldn't recommend you to work with Fiammetta skill 1. If you have that much DP, I would probably recommend you work with other 6 stars. Now, E1 and her skill 2 is when she actually gets really strong. So skill 2 is a bit complicated. Hear me out. she will shoot a grenade thingy in a straight line, and then it will leave burn marks on the path. When it reaches the furthest point of her attack, that grenade will explode and deal 400%, well, up to 400% of her damage as physical damage. And then all of the marks that she left behind will also deal 200% explosive damage as well. So basically what it will mean is she'll shoot out one huge fireball, right? And then leave 5 small fireballs on the path. Each fireball is like 0.66 tiles apart from each other. And then the explosions. The biggest explosion, 400% physical damage, it has a radius of 1.5 tiles. And the small explosions have a radius of 1.1 tile. Oh my god, this is so hard to explain. This is harder to explain than I expected. Basically, what you think is a lot of small explosions and then a big explosion at the end. And a total of 6 explosions. But you're not going to hit every single enemy with, you're not going to hit one enemy with all of those explosions. Pretty much best case scenario is that if your enemy is standing at the 3rd tile away from Fiammetta, you can get 1000% damage from her skill 2. That's pretty much best case scenario for all like normal enemies, but there is one exception. So if you're facing huge enemies like Big Sad Lock from Roguelike, the bear, or you guys remember the Ling event where the final, like the boss dragon, those big enemies will take full damage, which means you can get 1400% physical damage from her skill 2. It's not really, you're not really going to do that much damage because every single explosion counts as a single attack, and that attack has to be deducted defense from to calculate the final damage. So it's a bit complicated there, but you're looking at like, I think almost 30,000 damage on a big boss if you use her skill 2. And that is why this skill is so good. Now, this skill costs 7 SP to charge, and then since she is really, her attack speed is really slow, you would definitely want Arknights with her, I think it's called Landon Tactics or something like that. I forgot the talent's name. Arknights' talent, E1 talent, would be fine to charge her skill for her. And then you can just spam skill 2. This skill is actually quite incredible in terms of just pure damage. And then there's one downside where because there's like explosions happening and then there's like time duration before the explosions actually happen, you have to pre-time when you should activate the skills. It's a bit complicated. I will do a roguelike run with Fiammetta for the next video, and then you guys can see for yourself. So subscribe to my channel for that if you want to see that happen. Now, skill 3 was actually the skill that I wanted to love the most because it's got infinite duration, right? So basically what it does is it has infinite duration as long after you launch it, and then it will attack the furthest tile, so like the 4th tile right in front of her, and just keep bombarding that tile. Doesn't stop when there's no enemy, it doesn't matter. She will just keep bombarding that area, and the explosion radius is like 2 tiles, which is huge, right? But there's one downside. The inner circle, so there's like 2 circles with this skill. The inner circle, you can get 220% attack, while the outer circle, the bigger circle, the 2 tile radius circle, you can only get 125% attack. And then there's also one thing. Remember how I said that her second talent only works, increases her attack speed when she's outside her skill duration? So that means her second talent is completely useless for her 3rd skill. And then you also have to account that she will only bombard that one area. That means it is really strict where you can place your Fiammetta. If you have the best if you have the perfect tile, which there are quite a lot in roguelike, I will also show that in the next video, it works perfectly fine. But unless you have that one perfect tile, this skill doesn't work. Pretty much. You're gonna get like really low attack, and you'd rather off just like don't even use a skill. Normal attack is probably better in those situations, which is really lame for me. And that's why I mainly use skill 2 nowadays. I look for those situations where I can use skill 3, but skill 2 is the skill I use the most. And as you can see, since all of them requires attack speed, you want Arknights in your team deployed to increase the SP region. And then because of her first talent, you at least need one medic assigned to her. And then not all positions you can actually assign a medic to her. So there's just a lot to work around if you want to use Fiammetta. But after all the work around, the damage that you actually get is 100% worth it. And that is why I really think everyone, as long as you have the will to actually try like these more complicated, not really complicated, less brain dead, like not Summer Chen or not Surtur brain dead strategies, I think you should give her a try, because it is truly fun to play with Fiammetta. Also, if you unlock the module, unlike me, every single attack of hers will ignore 100 defense from enemies. I should have done it, but yeah, I completely forgot about it, and I don't have the resources for that now. So I'll definitely do it on my English account, but just not on my Chinese account. So that's about it for this video. I know there's a lot that I need to explain because her skill mechanic is really complicated, but it's really hard for me to just speak it out to you guys, and then I don't really want to, you know, merge all the combat in because I'm not good at that. So I will make a separate roguelike run with her, and then I'll show you guys how her skill 2 and skill 3 works in actual combat in the next video. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.